my microphone. I hope my sound is loud enough. People can tell me if, let's see here. Here we go. All right. If my sound is too soft, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep this volume level. 大家欢迎参加我们的万佛圣场的星期天晚上的华严经讲座。现在我们准备继续讲十回向品。如果大家就准备听，那我们就继续哈。好的 ，OK， 今天是在圣城，我们是星期天的一个17号，9月17号，我们澳大利亚这里是星期一中午18号，OK， let us begin. Let's see here. I'm going to share my screen, and Gwen is going to do the Dharma request. Let me get Keynote up. And what we're going to do first is bow to the Buddhas 3 times, and then ask Gwen to request Dharma. 我们现在在每个人的座位上就行三温熏礼，然后我们请 Gwen 来请法。Okay, let's do our Dharma request. Here we go. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, Gwen, if you would like to request Dharma, please do it now.
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。
恭敬大德僧听，为此法会，济切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，速证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and assemblies and then birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahudi samyao samputtoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahudi samyao samputtoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，八千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All right, Gwen, thank you for the Dharma request. Appreciate that. We're going to continue our pre-lecture protocols with an invocation to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the Flower Garland Assembly. 我们现在就迎请华严海会佛菩萨，还有天龙法部护法上身莅临道场，祝福各位。We'll invite the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to give a blessing to all of us who are gathered here around the planet, truly, to hear the sutra and to support the Dharma. Here we go. Namo Tafang Pho Furthermore, we would like to acknowledge the Pomo people who practice their spiritual connections to the earth and to all creation here on their ancestral land for tens of thousands of years. Today we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. Pomo 人在他们祖先的土地上修炼着他们与土地万物的精神联系已有数万年。今天我们承认他们是这些土地的传统监护人和原始讲故事之人，并且向他们过去、现在和新兴的长老们表示敬意，以及主权未被割让的所有第一民族人民们表示敬意。All right, there we go. Various acknowledgments of country. There we go. All right. We'd like to continue with the bell song. And here it is right here. The bells sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000劫内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训起法界和平，利益报他诺后者。Alrighty, there we go. That's our Dharma request ceremony, getting ready to explain the Dharma. And I'm delighted to be here with everybody today. We've got we're coming to the end of our Ten Transferences, chapter 6th transference. And let's see here, save that. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm freeing up a lot of, let's see here, a lot of RAM on my computer. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look and find out where everyone is from. 我们就先我们 acknowledge country， 我们承认这个国家的原住民。我们现在线性的各位我们这个 internet， 我们网络啊，给我们一个新的一个土地对不对？这个是 virtual 的土地，电动的一个土地我们从 Dublin, Ohio, from 台北从Ukiah就let's see where the host is. San Jose, Shanghai, Xianggang, Hong Kong, Newbury Park, California. Connie, I bet, is in Sunnyvale, probably. Let's see, where else? We've got people from, let's see here, Cynthia must be in Saratoga, South San Francisco, Round Rock, Texas, Shenzhen, Santa Rosa, Alameda. Where else? San Jose. Where else here? 海南 海南岛欢迎Sacramento and Berkeley and Fremont. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Alameda. From San Jose, Seattle, Wanfo-Cheng. Let's see, where else? I'm not sure where Heng Sure is. Let's see here. Also, City of 10,000 Buddhas, South San Francisco, Seattle, New York City, Bay Area. Where else here? Okay, Michael is here. Michael, welcome. Taipei. Where else? Santa Clara, Malaysia, San Francisco, Seattle. Lots of North Americans here today. Ho Chi Minh City, Oakland. All right. Virginia, Taipei. Okay, more friends in Taipei. Great. Santa Barbara. All right. And then we have Taipei, and we have, let's see here, 浙江海宁, Beijing, Dallas, 上海, 哈尔滨, 北京, 杭州, 还有呢什么地方？广州、吉林、黑龙江，哇，那么多东北人哈！唐山、河北、山东大连 ，OK， more from Manchuria， 湖南OK good， from 辽宁、黑龙江还有什么地方？浙江蓝海那个地方，还有安徽、宿州、上海let's see here， 吉林、安徽、河北，张家口 ，OK， 张家口市黑龙江、包头、内蒙古山东、北京、唐山Black Dragon River， 黑龙江、江苏OK， 镇江，好的，呼和浩特 ，OK， 内蒙古，西雅图那不是中国，上海、黑龙江、吉隆坡、洛杉矶那也更不是中国，广东、广西贵港贵港市欢迎欢迎，深圳、上海、台北 OK。Welcome everyone. 欢迎各位 So glad you're all here. Okay. Yes, indeed. Alrighty. There we are. Okay. Now, our program tonight is going to be quite the standard program on a Sunday night at City of 10,000 Buddhas, which is we're going to explain more of the sixth transference, and we're in the verses part, so it's a summary, and it's got a nice musical meter to it. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Then we're going to finish the encounter of Master Shenzang in the Gaochang, the country of Gaochang. So that's what we're about. 今天我们节目呢是我们照常就研究第六回向，十回向品的第六回向。我们已经到重诵，就把前边长行的道理就把它再说一遍，用这个寄诵的方式来梆梆梆梆梆梆梆梆梆梆梆这样子然后讲完了，我们就在研究玄奘大师的这个故事。他呢现在已经到了高昌，高昌的国王，哎呦，高昌的国王被这个大德高僧应该英文怎么讲outsmarted, outwitted. He's not tricked. 玄奘大师用他的智慧，用他的诚恳心，用他的无畏心 fearless， 一点都不恐怖。就说到生死的关头，他也一样诚恳诚心这个国王没办法被他降服了。真的拿出来一个万分的佩服心恭敬心。So 那个国王被降服之后怎么办呢？今天我们会听到。Okay, there we go. Here we are. Here's our sutra. Oh, nope, that's the storybook. Here's the sutra. Okay.Let's put that back. There we go. All right. Now the sutra begins right here. We ready? Let's see, how much should we do in one bite? We can do a page. We'll do the whole page. Okay, here we go. Ready?菩萨如是第四位，悲心种种广大业，悉以回向诸汉士，而不生于去找心。菩萨舍彼大王位，即以国度诸诚意，宫殿楼阁于园林，同普世为皆无临，比喻无量百千劫，处处周行20余，因以教导诸群生，悉是超生无上安。无量品类各差别，十方世界来摧之。菩萨见一心性情，随其所法令满足。One more. 如三世佛所回向，菩萨以修如是业，调御人尊之所行，悉皆随学到彼岸。悉皆随学，那个是 tongue twister。悉皆随学到彼岸。Okay, there we go. Here we are. Ready? Carefully contemplating in such a way, bodhisattvas perfect all manner of great deeds. They dedicate all of these to sentient beings with a heart free from clinging and attachment. Without stinginess, bodhisattvas give away their thrones, as well as their lands, cities, towns, palaces, pavilions, groves, gardens, servants, attendants, and guards. For countless hundreds of thousands of eons, they travel everywhere in order to give. By giving in this way, they teach and guide the multitudes, leading all beings to arrive at the supreme shore. Countless classes of beings, each unique, gather together from all worlds throughout the 10 directions. Bodhisattvas are delighted upon seeing them, giving to each according to their needs. Bodhisattvas practice making dedications in the same way as do all Buddhas of the 3 periods of time. Whatever the subduing and regulating honored ones practice, Bodhisattvas emulate and learn, thereby arriving at the other shore. Okay, this is, you can see where moving through the original principles in the previous verse of the prose section. So what do you get from this? There's definitely, here's what I want to say to my English listening audience here. We're hearing the sutra in English, a big bite at a time. And what happens when you do it this way, when you read through it, is you can listen not only for the principles and for the examples of how bodhisattvas behave, you can also listen to the music of the lines and you can say the literary quality of the text. This is a document after all. It's a book. Now, it's a sacred book. It's not just a piece of literature, certainly, but there are literary qualities, and when you listen to it that way, you get another whole flavor of the sutra. So you can also feel the flow of the text and how it develops. So the flow of this section in the 6th transference is, we've been hearing about excuse me, a bodhisattva who, in this case, is a king. The sutra focuses on saying, here's an example, here's an exemplar, here's a paradigm bodhisattva, here's a good example of how bodhisattvas behave. He's a king. And the king is really generous. The king is a giver. He's a philanthropist. He's a donor. He's a kind-hearted benefactor. And he gives away everything. And so we're now, excuse me, I keep losing my throat here. We're now in the midstream of the description of how the bodhisattva gives. And it was just a few sentences above where the description of what the bodhisattva did shifted from giving with his hands in the real world, or the queen, could be a woman, to the transference part. Because as we know, this whole chapter is about how to do one practice, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva's 10th vow, which is dedicating merit. So now that we've shifted, now we can say, you can see the text gives us both. The Bodhisattva gives things, then he uses the special Dharma, and with his mind gives again. 各位注意，我们念这个句诵，我们可以念一段，不但一段，我们念1、2、3、4、5 1 2 3 4 5，一页就我们这里排版就一页有5段，5个句诵，我们都可以听到内容，没有错，就是一个很圣贤的、很贤的、灵寂的一个经文，是一部经典，没有错，也是一本书这属于佛教的文学，可以用这种眼光来看哈。那么这样子看呢，就念下去，我们都可以听到这个内容，还有这些道理，还有华严经的菩萨是怎么样行为那个是怎么一回事呢？这个是第6回向就给我们一个国王，这个国王呢，他是一个慈善家，他欢喜布施，他欢喜把他所有的东西布施给其他人了， 他一点都不吝惜，他什么都可以舍得，他没有这个刻薄，不吝惜，不能舍，他不是这样子的。当然给我们做榜样，在前边菩萨就把东西，他把这个物质就布施，然后经文告诉我们这个国王的菩萨当国王的身份，他怎么样布施，然后呢讲了一会儿就又进一层，就上更上一层楼哈，他就开始用心回向。第二种布施，这个施回向品，虽然这一品比较长，在华严经里，可是他还是解释一个法门，就一个法门，是普贤菩萨的第10普皆回向第10大愿，普贤菩萨的10大愿望的第10，就告诉我们如何用心做布施，做法布施，主供养中法供养最，回向是法供养。他先用双手来布施东西，然后布施好了人受到了，菩萨把这个布施的功德又回向一次。大家听得懂吗？哈，这个方法他怎么做的所以我们现在就可以无断呢，就可以知道菩萨这个国王给我们做修回向恒的榜样，他怎么样做 ？OK，got it。好的，那我们现在就一句一句来研究。Okay, let's take a look from sentence by sentence. Are people? I looked at who's here today, and I know that many of us are perhaps had the opportunity to listen to Master Xuanhua deliver sutras in person. You had that blessing. Some of the old disciples, so the old disciples, old in years and old in seniority in the Sangha, in the DRBA community. So we who had that opportunity kind of got used to listening to Master Hua alternate. He would lecture in Chinese, then we would record it on the tape recorder and then roll the tape back and then press the button, and sentence by sentence out would come what the English translator sitting below Shifu's Dharma seat heard. So we kind of got used to that two-step, first the Chinese, then the English. Even if we didn't know much Chinese, it was always delightful to listen to Master Hua speak Dharma, because he was an old school storyteller, trained in the Tiantai Jiaoguan, which is the Tiantai school trained speakers. In my seminary education, it was called homiletics. It was the art of preaching. And Shifu was a great preacher. He was really concerned that the audience not fall asleep. He didn't want people to get bored. And he saw us, of course, falling asleep because we were, still getting used to our lifestyle as monastics. So Shifu would raise his voice, and he sometimes would slow the pace down but increase the volume. So entirely based on a traditional, old-fashioned way of communication before there were computers and speakers and internets and modems. And Shifu would he would ask rhetorical questions. He would say, 回向呢？什么叫回向？回向这个法门呢？ Like that. And what, of course, did somebody say something? And we'd wake right up, And then Shifu would emphasize the principles and repeat the patterns, the lists, the Four Noble Truths, the 5 right efforts, the 5 roots, the 5 powers, the 6 paramitas, the 7 Bodhi shares, the 8 sages, the 8-fold path. He would repeat those over and over and over again, because why? We were the audience, we Americans. Shifu wanted us to get, he wanted to plant the Dharma down in our hearts the right way, so that it would last, and so that it would become American, Canadian, Australian. It would become, it'd be absorbed, adapted, and owned by new people in a new culture with new ears and new ways. Certainly, that is how the Dharma traveled from India 2,500 years ago to China. That happened. Then what? Then it went to Korea. It became Korean. Then what? Then it went to Japan, and it became Japanese. Then what? Then it went to Vietnam, and it became Vietnamese. This is the traveling of the Mahayana. Now it's the same process. It has come to the West, the larger West, and we're absorbing it now and making it our own. So that's I want folks who are not in the habit of listening to sutras to be able to understand why there's a Chinese section and then there's an English section. So now we have this incredible benefit of the internet, and I do 3 full-on lectures a week, and 2 of those lectures have kind-hearted translators who are dedicated to allowing me to continue in English, so they can, using Zoom and this excellent software's capabilities, they can deliver my English words in Mandarin Chinese and in Vietnamese. Later on, if we have other volunteers come forward, we can have translations into Spanish, into Polish, into what else? Bahasa, right? So we'll see. Maybe not Bahasa. Maybe the speakers of Bahasa Malaysia, Bahasa Indonesia might not welcome. Don't know. We'll see. Let me translate what I just said, and then we'll go into the text. 好的，我刚刚讲说，有的人就不知道为什么，我先讲一段中文，然后再给自己当翻译，再讲中文。这是上人宣化上人的方法。他呢，在金山寺在佛教讲堂，然后金山寺，然后万佛圣城，还有各地分支道场。上人在法座上有一个翻译的人坐在上人旁边，在下边有个录音机。上人会讲5分钟、10分钟，然后你在这说，他看下边，他说你帮我翻译一下，然后就把那个录音机停，再转回去，停，再放上人声音一段，然后尽量as best they could 帮他翻译用英文。在那个听众呢，在座今天在我们今天的这个讲解，有几位也是跟我一起在当时就有机会听到上人的声音就亲自听到师父这个方法，他们已经习惯双语的讲座，双语中文英文所以呢，他们不会见怪说，哎呀，这法师为什么这我听了好像有 turn my mind off， 然后再来听其实这很好的机会学习第2个语言那么上人他呢，他在东北年轻的时候，他亲自说过，他说哪里有60里之内有人讲道，无论什么道，是道教的道，是基督教的道，是佛教的道，是什么道，师父一定会自己 就拔起脚步，梆梆梆梆去听，坐在前边第一排，在那儿洗耳聆听，看看那个人讲的有没有道理然后都会记住里边的智慧，就带回去。师父说他是这样的习惯。然后呢，师父在天台教官就长大了，做法师，他的僧团里边的教育很俱全，所以师父讲经讲开示，他就会利用传统的方法。这个传统的方法呢，好听，就是没有喇叭，没有扩音器，没有电脑，没有这个网络，所以呢，只有你的声音可以跟听众沟通。商人是专家，他会用声音大小，这个他会用他把他的声音拉得高，需要的话看看谁在那儿睡觉，然后为了强调那个重要，他都会声音降得低一点，让你要注意听，这样子。然后有故事商人讲的故事讲的没有谁比他讲的故事更好听，好听所以意思是什么？希望我们会接受佛法讲到有这个冥想好比说呢，二谛呢，就说一正二谛就说有三毒有四谛法，有五根五力有六波罗蜜，有七菩提分法，有八正道有这个49空常流有10波罗蜜，师父都会强调再三把它讲清楚，希望正法都会下根在新的陆地，希望新的耳朵、新的文化都会接受佛法，把它变成自己的佛法。这个国家、这个时代、这个文化所明白的佛法大家听得懂吗？这个是佛法2500年了，就这样子演变，从印度到中国，从中国变成中国佛教，从中国到韩国，韩国佛教，从韩国到日本佛教越南佛教等等，汉传佛教就这样子呢，就演变，慢慢的就变成美国佛教加拿大佛教澳大利亚佛教就是这个过程是必要的我们就在这种演变当中。So the Bodhisattvas here, carefully contemplating in such a way, Bodhisattvas perfect all manner of good deeds. They dedicate all of these to sentient beings, and their hearts don't cling. 菩萨这样子观察如是第4位，就是观察看看众生的机缘，备行种种广大业，无论做任何善事，他们都悉以回向诸善事，他们会让功德，就希望众生接受呢，都会更进一步认识正法。二不生欲主屈着心，菩萨因为众生无边誓愿度，这个众生不接受，等一等，将来他一定会接受另外一个方法，那个众生都会接受，所以不必执着了这个方便法不行的话，我设另外一个方便法，就他一定会接受。Without stinginess, bodhisattvas give away their thrones, as well as lands, cities, towns, palaces, pavilions, groves, gardens, servants. Who can do this? Only kings or great kshatriya warriors, great families. You have to be wealthy to have a city or a town to give, or a palace, right? So this is an example of how bodhisattvas in the sutra, given to us as our models, are not stingy in the least. How is this possible? What would, if we were to translate, what would we translate it into now? Bodhisattvas give away their stock options. Bodhisattvas give away their SUVs. Bodhisattvas give away their luxury cruise liner tickets. Bodhisattvas give away their marvelous toys of all kinds, their vacations at Aspen, their cross-country skis, or their jet skis. Bodhisattvas can give away anything. But where do we live? Now, the challenge of the sutra is always to translate down to what applies to us. So we who don't have cities, towns, palaces, pavilions, and groves to give, what can we give? Can we give the need to be number one away? Can we give away in conversation with our spouse, with our husband or our wife, the need to be right in favor of agreeing with our spouse just because it will make them happy? Give away the need to have your voice be the last word in every situation? Oh, how hard that is to say, you know, when I listen to what you say, it makes a lot of sense. Let's do it your way. Oh, my goodness. What a difference that would make in the atmosphere around the dinner table, wouldn't it? That's harder to give away than servants, attendants, and guards. Bodhisattvas can do that because why? Their goal is to make other living beings peaceful, happy, joyful, contented, and ultimately enlightened, free from suffering. So, with that in mind, what can I give that would make my life partners, my family, that way? 就说菩萨他舍彼大王位其意国度诸城邑宫殿楼阁园林通铺侍卫皆无吝吝惜那么菩萨他是国王，他有这些东西呢，他拥有这些，可以布施。那我没有城市，我没有宫殿啊，我更没有通铺，比较起来，这跟我的生命有什么关系呢？就说有，没有错，有，就是表示这个。当然，华严经上的菩萨当国王是，就说给我们那个边际，他连这个都能布施，这是国王最舍不得的东西了。这个菩萨行菩萨道的国王可以，没有关系了，能度众生他都愿意，能跟众生结善缘他都愿意。我们不是国王，怎么呢？就说我跟我的太太跟我的先生，我能不能让而不争？有什么事情我们在讨论，我能不能不给那个 stink eye 看着他，用慈悲的眼睛看他？我会不会对他说，听起来有道理，我们就根据你的方法去做。好的，我同意了。我们如果就这样做，没有关系了。我让那个圣战不要跟他打仗就说能让，就说让而不争。有这种小小的布施，比什么宫殿，比什么园林更难舍。能这样做我们的家庭里边的气氛温暖。真的有这种的难舍能舍，这种布施 比较起来，可能比这个大王位更难，不是？能这样做呢，真的明白行菩萨道是怎么行的把这个六大宗旨实行了，哎呦，那个是行菩萨道的难行能行，难舍能舍，善待。So if you take those 6 guidelines, for example, we say, yeah, well, I'm barely making my payments. How am I possibly going to give away forests and pavilions? Say, okay, just take a look. If in my interactions with the people around me, I can not fight, not be greedy. I can be content, not seek. I can think of their best interests and not be selfish and self-benefiting. I can tell the truth. That is a gift more valuable and probably harder to let go of than the king's throne. Maybe not, but equally hard, right? So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be something that you can put a dollar value to. If you can give up the need to struggle, just don't give the stink eye to your partner. Instead, use kind eyes. Whew. You can turn a relationship around right there. So, indeed. Time together with those we love is precious. Don't waste it in needless struggle. And for countless hundreds of thousands of eons, they travel everywhere in order to give. By giving in this way, they teach and guide the multitudes, leading all beings to arrive at the supreme shore. Amen. That sounds good to me. Clearly, this bodhisattva is the king is a transformed body. You know how in the Universal Door chapter, you've read that? Pumanpin, Guanyin Bodhisattva can appear in all kinds of bodies when needed to teach Dharma. And the body of a king is definitely one of those bodies. 菩萨呢，就说比喻无量百千界，处处周行而施语，因逆教导诸群生，是使悉使场圣无上岸。这个第六会上的菩萨一定是化身，他现在可以带领，就说教导一个国家，所以现一个国王身。各位记得你们上次念普门品观音菩萨就会就说因以何身得度者，因以国王身得度者，即现国王身而为说法，这就是这个案子。Okay, taking us to the supreme shore, arrive at the supreme shore. Countless classes of beings, each unique, gather from all the worlds throughout the 10 directions. Bodhisattvas are delighted upon seeing them, giving to each according to their needs. Look at this. This takes us right back to our stories that we're reading, and we'll get there in just a minute. Master Empty Cloud. Oops, not Master Empty Cloud. This is Master Shenzong. As he leaves India, he's already finished his studies at Nalanda University. He's gathered together the sutras that he wants to take back, which was his original purpose. Remember, he not only wanted to get text, but he wanted to learn Sanskrit so he could translate them. That's kind of like, I got a new computer, I better learn C++ so I can code it the way I want to. Apple gives you a terminal program, so you can actually, I don't know if they let you break into the kernel, probably not, but I guess if you're a developer, you can, right? So, same kind of thing. He wanted to bring back the sutras, but of course the sutras, guess what? Not in Chinese. They were in Indian languages, so he had to learn the language. This guy was fearless and awesome in his energy. So he learned Sanskrit, and he's ready to come back. And what do the kings do? There are three Indian kings who, Shiladitya and Drupabala, and forget the third king's name, who find this piece of land between two rivers that had traditionally been used for the great banquets of giving. And they call, just like the sutra says, countless classes of beings, from beggars, untouchables, from merchants to ministers and kings, warriors, and then Brahmins and Buddhists, and what are called Vaidao. India is full of non-Buddhist religions. Brought them all together and from out the 10 directions and gave to them in a very orderly and consistent manner, leaving nobody without. And they gave everything, including their robes and their jewels. Interestingly, Master Xuanzang was such a good diary writer, a diarist, a journalist, that he reports that after that the kings really did give away like everything. They kept rough cotton robes for them and their families, everything else they gave away. And immediately after people got the king's robes and the king's crown jewels, the neighboring kings pooled their money and ransomed back the robes, the crown, and the weapons to keep the country safe, for fear that some unscrupulous enemy would use the moment when the king had given away everything and attack. So they ransomed back the essentials, the robes, the crown, jewels, and the army. So how interesting. And here's the Bodhisattva doing just that. 这一段各位记得吗？无量品类各差别，十方世界来摧之。菩萨见以心性，随其所法令满足。这意思是什么？各位知道吗？这个玄奘大师，这个我们现在讲的故事，他已经到了印度，他目的是要把正确的经典、完整的经书带回去中国。问题是什么？多少在印度的经典是有中文的版本呢？零，没有了，还没有翻译。怎么办？所以玄奘大师他呢，你看这个人怎么样用功？他说：“OK， 好，我来学梵文，我来学印度话，我自己翻译，把他们当翻译者。”哇，他这么大的精神，所以他就这样做7年，他在那儿学习这个梵文，然后把那个经典放在他背带，准备带回去。那么印度的国王他们也上那个高唱王差不多了，他们舍不得这个大师，他们有这个辩论比赛然后他们设一个所谓这个大师会，就是说历代一代一代的就会到同一个地方，是2条河的中间，就拿一些帐篷，很有秩序，就请所有的，就是说十方世界来萃取，所有从那个4大阶级这个刹帝利还有这个上业还有这个kshatriya 刹帝 let's see 从untouchable to merchants 上业，还有这个国王，还有这个婆罗门，然后他们就到了，然后他们就请佛教的和尚，他们的请所谓外道，不是佛法的那个宗教代表，他们也来了，婆罗门教都在那儿，然后国王一个一个就布施给他们， 很有次序，甚至于国王自己的衣服、他的皇冠、他的珠宝都布施出去了，他武器武装就布施出去了，什么都没有了，他就留下来一个粗布的一件衣服，他跟他皇后。可是玄奘大师他写笔记，他留下这一点，他说隔壁的国王马上捐钱，就把这个皇冠呢、衣服，紫衣哈，那个皇上所穿的衣服，然后武器买回来，免得他什么都没有了，怕会有什么不讲道的一个国家都会侵扰，都会打进来，所以那个 basics 那个基本的需要，皇冠、皇上的衣服，还有他的武器都买回来，他的都真的舍得。So this practice was pretty amazing. 菩萨见你心清净，随其所法令满足。真的，Can you imagine? Can you imagine Mitch McConnell just kind of getting down on his hands and knees and with both hands offering up stock options to the folks down in the holler, folks down in the creek, folks in the valley, West Virginia? Don't know. Maybe so. Bodhisattvas practice making dedications the same way the kings do, as do all Buddhas of the 3 periods of time. They look at how the Buddhas dedicate merit, and they do the same. Whatever the Tiao Yu Zun subduing and regulating, that's too harsh. Bodhisattvas emulate and learn and go to the other shore. So bodhisattvas follow Buddhas in practicing dedication, transference. We definitely saw Master Hsuan after he would deliver his Chinese portion of the text, he would say, "Help, please translate for me," and then he would sit on his Dharma seat and cultivate Shifu's particular dharmas. I don't think any of us maybe knew what he was doing. It was it had to do something with the 42 hands and eyes, but he would do special, sometimes the translation would finish and Shifu had not finished with his cultivation, and we would wait and he would blow on his hands or make a special mudra, and he would say, Fani wan lameo, aha, and then he would lecture again. So Shifu, to my eyes, was transferring merit, helping people out, not wasting a minute of time. What was he doing? I can't guarantee, but that's what it certainly looked like. So we know, in the Pumanpin, Guanyin Bodhisattva gives the necklace, the beads that is given to her by inexhaustible intention Bodhisattva, and she doesn't accept them, and the Buddha says, "You can accept them." So Guanyin takes them and then splits it into 2 strands and gives one to the Buddha and gives one to the stupa of many jewels, Dobao Rulai. So, wowie, the success stories, the end of the road is Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and what are they doing? They're practicing giving. It's not only the foot soldiers and the peons and the beginners who practice giving because they need to cultivate merit. This is a practice that takes you all the way to the other shore, giving to the point of crossing over, where we're no longer led around by the self, no longer pushed into confusion through our greed, and find ourselves in situations that we wonder, how did I do this? Why did I forget what Shifu taught? Here I am. Oh man. if I can get out of this situation, I promise never again, right? We have that desperate gambler's resolve. So, yeah, and bodhisattvas go, yeah, I still cultivate. I still cultivate giving. And they transfer, they give with their minds. So one nice thing about transference is you can do it anywhere, anytime. And what do you need? You need some gongda, you need some merit and virtue, but that's the deal. That's how it's cultivated. Go out and do something good. You can do it simply by changing your attitude in any given situation. And there's the merit. Give it away, share it. When we get good at this, it's amazing how the mind just kind of enjoys learning how to do this better and better. And you just become more able to focus. Your mind, when you concentrate, you can feel like the field of your dedication goes further, goes wider. It's like when you start with a piece of marble and you keep chipping at it, pretty soon you've got a wonderful Buddha image or a wonderful sensor, something very useful. That's how the mind responds to being disciplined through cultivation of the Dharma. It's as if the Dharma was in there waiting to be released by the effort that you put in. All right. 菩萨如三世佛所回向，菩萨以修如是业，调御人尊之所行，悉皆随学到彼岸。有机会看到上人他讲经，每天晚上就这样做，都会记得。师父就讲了5分钟、10分钟，然后他就说：“你帮我翻译。”然后师父在法座上，他就开始修他的法，到底是什么呢？我也不知道，我们没有，不是我问的哈，不是我的管分。可是看师父，看他怎么做，他好像有42手言啊，或是不同的手印。然后有的师父有的时候翻译完了，师父还没有修完了他的法，他就吹一口气，然后翻译好了没有啊？好啊，好，我们继续讲。他就开始讲经，继续讲。这个意思是说，上人看起来好像在那儿回向功的修行，回向功的。我们呢，你就说我们不是师父，当然不是师父。不过看师父1分钟都没有空放过，他就用每1秒钟当修行的机会，在那儿利益人。那我们呢，我们就说这个回向这个法门，你看，就说菩萨观察佛，调御人尊，就是佛陀。佛呢也是已经成功，他是十法界里边的最高尚的一个。可是呢，他们还在那儿布施，菩萨还在那儿布施不是说只有开始显法菩提、初发菩提心的人在那儿布施，不是。你们知道哈，这个我们观察这个普门品《法华经》，观音菩萨受无尽意菩萨的一个念珠，就一副念珠就布施给观音菩萨，观音菩萨不愿意接受。佛陀也告诉他，你可以接受，为他接受，他愿意种你的福田，你可以接受。观音菩萨答应了，你不会对佛陀说不要了。好，我接受。然后呢，他就分2部分，就一个给释迦牟尼佛，一个给多宝佛塔，供养这个佛塔。哇！观音菩萨在那儿做布施，所以何况我们应该尽量的随三世诸佛回向功德。 怎么样呢？就说用六大宗旨，就用心在那儿用慈悲心对最近我们的六经愿书，用这个柔和的语文，然后有功德就可以回向。这个回向的心呢，它等于什么？那个钓鱼师，他先从那个大理石一块，然后用他的锤子，用他的 chisel 那个打，然后慢慢的打出来一个非常庄严，我们可以顶礼的一个佛像或者是一个香炉有用的东西了。我们的心也一样的，我们用佛法来调育这个心呢，慢慢的那个心就很有用。这样子，所以好像那个法已经在心里边，就等待我们开始修行，开始把它打出来调育，把它流露那个有光明的这个佛心呢、菩萨心呢、圣人的心，当然是没有形象，可是呢，它的作用是不可思议。Alrighty. When was the last time we practiced the seven Tathagatas names? 我们上次念七佛如来名号是什么时候？大家记得吗？南无多宝如来，南无宝生如来，南无妙思圣如来，南无广博圣如来，南无力不为如来，南无甘露王如来，南无阿弥陀如来。When was the last time we did this? These are wonderful. There are 7 Tathagatas names. And I'm not going to go through it today because we want to get to our story, but there's all kinds of wonderful things that happen when we recite these 7 Tathagatas names. We heard about Guanyin Bodhisattva giving part of her necklace, her beads, to the stupa of many treasures, Duoba Rula. That's number 1, right? Oh, now we know that one. Now look at the last one. Who's the last one? Amitabha. 7 Tathagatas. Each of these Tathagatas have invested energy in the power of their names. It's the names that matter. There's merit and virtue in these names. So if we recite their names, oh man, a lot of them have to do with the realms of animals, the realms of ghosts and spirits. So that includes our ancestors. The realms of children. If you want your kids to succeed in their exams, then we want to Ganlu Wang, Sweet Dew, Ambrosia, Bodhisattva. So these are so good. Ready? Namo Do Bao Ru Lai, Namo Bao Sheng Ru Lai, Namo Miao Si Sheng Ru Lai, Namo Guang Bo Sheng Ru Lai, Namo Li Bu Wei Ru Lai, Namo Ganlu Wang Ru Lai, Namo Ami To Ru Lai。 对了，观音菩萨就供养多宝如来宝塔。对了，就是那尊佛。那么第7呢是谁？阿弥陀如来，阿弥陀佛。我们已经知道2个。这7尊佛、7尊如来，他们的圣号、他们的名号、他们的名字都有特别的愿力在里边。念他们的名字就有好处，他们的愿力就实现了。很多这个好处就是给其他的法界，这个鬼神法界，还有动物畜生法界那么这个入世呢， 自己的孩子，你念南无甘露王如来，回向给那个孩子，他们考试那个联考都有成功啊。那么如果你的亲戚就开一个商店，开一个铺子，你念这个宝生如来那个礼部为如来有这些名号，他们都会发财，都会成功，做生意都会成功多宝如来名号特别好的。我们再来一次 ，Ready? One more time. Here we go. 南无多宝如来，南无宝生如来，南无妙思身如来，南无广博身如来，南无礼部为如来，南无甘露王如来 ，and 南无阿弥陀如来，南无阿弥陀佛。好的。方才有人就问我，法师，这个法门呢，你怎么学到的？师父有没有教你那个怎么行呢？我就说，用这个先行，然后再问，好吧？我够从反面你自己做，然后你告诉我有什么好处，这样子。这个好过我先告诉你这个好处，好像卖这个法门卖给你，不是，我不会为这个法门做广告我就是解释传统的说法，你自己愿意行就行，不愿意行，另外很多八万四千。Okay, somebody when I've been promoting this practice, people said, "Oh, dear Master, where does Sherpa talk about this? And tell me about this. Tell me more about it. How'd you learn about it?" No, let's do it this way. Let us first practice. Let's do. Is this the what method of finding knowledge is this? Empirical, certainly. Deductive or reductive. So what do? We first recite the names of the Buddhas, then get the experience, come back and tell me what benefits came to you. I don't want to try to sell you or defend it. I just know this is very wonderful stuff. The names of the Buddhas and the energy of their vows, don't mess around. Just pick it up and put it into practice. And if it's not for you, then practice one of the other 84,000 Dharma doors. Here we go. Yes. Oh, man. Oops. Wrong one. I want this one. Here we go. Here's our hero. Ready? Here we go. 后日往别张大丈开讲，帐可坐300余人，太妃以下王姬同师大臣等各不别而听。每到讲时，王公旨香炉，自来迎饮，将生法座，往右低贵为凳，令法师蹑上，日日如此。哎呦 ，This is pretty special, huh? Two days later, the king established an arena capable of seating 300 men for the master to preach. The old queen, the king, the royal teacher, and the ministers all sat in different parts to listen. At each preaching, the king held an incense burner in his hand and ushered the master to the place. When the master was about to ascend the pulpit, the king would kneel down to serve as a stool for him to go to his seat. He did so every day. Yeah, I love this image. This is just, can you imagine? This is pretty sincere, isn't it? So the king of Gao Changwang, he did not get his wish. He wanted to keep Master Xuanzang for his own pet Dharma master. this little dusty desert kingdom, not just out of China, but not even just barely across the desert, right? Not even to the Himalayas. So, and in order to do so, he bribed Master Xuanzang. He told him all the good things, all the students, he would get all the monasteries. Everybody in the country would take refuge with him. Master Xuanzang says, you can keep my body, but you can't keep my mind. I will stop eating. If you force me to stay here, I need to accomplish my vows. Don't keep me. Oh, the king got angry, threatened him physically. I can keep you here. Master Xuanzang just didn't say a word, just stopped eating. Took 3-4 days. How many days did he not eat? Fourth day. 4 days. Okay, so took 4 days of fasting, which is hard to do. No water, no food. And he was about to die, and the king said, I give up, I give up. Master Xuanzang said, I don't trust you. Point to the sun and tell me that you're going to let me go. Oh, okay. And the king said, come on, let's go in front of the Buddha and I'll bow. So they went in front of the Buddha and they bowed, and the king made his promise. I will let you go, but you have to come back and teach here for 3 years, he said. So Master Xuanzang said, well, who knows if I'm going to come back, but as long as you let me go. And they did this in front of the king's mother. And the king's mother was so happy to see her son humble, because her son was probably just as arrogant as he appears. So, truly subdued, the king made all of these promises to him and said, we want the Dharma, we don't want you only. So, he set up this preaching situation. The Dharmas, he got a chance to speak Dharma. Which I wonder what Master Xuanzang said. I'll bet he taught the Dharma of no self. I'll just bet. And how to be faithful to a teacher, how to be faithful to a king, how to be faithful to family, how to be good disciples of the Buddha. So here's the royal family, the ministers, they all sat to listen. And the king invited him with an incense burner in his hand. That's Qingfa. He came with incense, the way we do it. And then before Master Xuanzang got to the seat, the king knelt down and said, step on my back on your way up to the Dharma seat. He did so every day. 哎呦，哇，真的不可思议！这个国王啊，他威胁玄奘大师说：“我有办法令你留下来啊！”他生怒发脾气，这个玄奘大师就说：“你可以把我的身体留在这个国家，可是我的心呢，我的精神你没办法留。”然后就绝食4天，不喝水，不吃饭4天，然后就快死了。到临命终的时候，这个国王投降了。好啊，你不要死在我的国家，我让你走，我留你，我不留你，你可以走。玄奘大师就不相信，他说：“你在太阳下要发誓。”玄奘那个国王就到他的母亲旁边就说：“我投降了。”然后到佛像前就礼佛说：“我答应了，我让你走，可是你回来要住在这里讲法。”这个笔记这个外传就说，那个太妃就是国王的母亲很欢喜，我相信是因为他知道他的儿子就是这么硬巴巴的，看玄奘大师把他降服了，他很高兴。好了，然后法师吃饭，国王准备一个讲堂，就300多人在那儿一起坐，包括那个文武百官呢，就在那儿，还有亲戚太妃，听他讲，你们各位猜猜 玄奘大师到底讲什么法？我相信他有几句特别对于国王，就说能无我，没有我见，没有我相，像须弥山那么大，就你的都会欢喜，你的心都解脱了。然后一定为这个太妃这个国王的母亲讲几句，讲几个道理，怎么样就做一个大施主，怎么样做坛乐，就说立功德，有福报，怎么样令国家带领国家，然后我相信他都会告诉他们一些根本的基本的佛法。因为法师已经有法师在那儿，没有错，有僧团，他们是不是有正信，不一定。然后国王他先请法的时候，他就拿香炉，就像我们持香请法一样的。然后呢，他又法师还没有开始讲，这个国王跪下来。就说你可以用我的身体当一个灯子上去，每天这样说不错，这个国王可以这样子，不功高就好了，就说怎么说谦虚，不容易，国王当一个凳子，不容易。好了，讲气为法师度四沙弥。以充己事，制法服30具，以洗土多寒，又造面衣、手衣、靴、袜等各数事，黄金100两，银笺3万，灵犀卷等500匹，从法师忘还20年，所用之资己。马30匹，30匹，首吏25人，前殿中士、御师、欢信诵之，夜户可汗。Let's see here. This is the name. 夜户可汗牙，夜户可汗牙。Okay. Check it out. What the king did. When the master had finished preaching, the king made arrangements to ordain 4 novice monks as his attendants. He made 30 suits of religious garments for the master, and as the climate in the western countries was cold, he made for him face covers, gloves, stockings, boots. A total amount of 100 taels of gold, 30,000 silver coins, 500 rolls of silk were provided for him as traveling expenses to last for 20 years on his way to and from India. 30 horses, 25 carriers were allotted to him, and Huan Xin, the palace attendant and royal secretary, was ordered to escort him to the government of the Shohu Khan. Oh my goodness. Now, we've just been hearing about kings and what they could give. Well, here's a perfect example. This is a history book, mind you. This is not just, happy stories. This is pretty much the only historical account of these trade route countries for hundreds and hundreds of years was written by our monk. Now, this is not his writing. This is a biography written by his attendants. But he was a journalist, and a lot of the details came from him. So this is really what the king did. Gold, silver, silk. Mind you, we had one monk with an old red horse across the desert. How is he going to, you know what 100 taels of gold weigh? Traveling expenses. He's going to have a Winnebago travel behind him, or maybe a couple of Winnebagos, large Winnebagos. Last for 20 years. Yeah, across the Himalayas. Across little, thin shelves of granite, covered with ice as he makes his way over the mountains. He's going to carry 500 rolls of soap. 30 horses, 25 carriers. He's got 4 young monks who are his servants. And the palace attendant and royal secretary is going to travel with him to the government of the Shehu Khan. Okay, who's the Shehu Khan? Don't know. We'll find out. It's in the book. It's in the story. But he is clearly the big boss of the desert. And that's where Master Xuanzang is heading. So, 各位刚刚看到华严经上的国王，他怎么样做布施？那现在这个历史书就实现，真实有这么一个国王。玄奘大师写的这个书呢，其实并不是他亲手写的，就是他的护法，他那个法师写的。可是这个细节是玄奘大师记录啊。那么有4个沙弥做这个侍者，有多少件衣服？30，4亿钵盂啊，3亿钵盂，那现在30亿啊，还有他所需要的这些呢，真的可以用到。不过他从哪里？从新疆出来。他一个法师，一个瘦瘦的红色的老马，他怎么会拿着黄金100两30多少银钱3万，这多重了？他那个老马怎么会需要25个属力25人带着这些东西啊？那么他要登那个雪山呢？雪山有的时候在山顶，那个你走的那个人行道是这么窄，又那个冰也是冰花的，你怎么会带着丝绸还有黄金？没关系了，让这个国王说不是30匹马，哎呀，还有那个 palace attendant 叫欢心，就说前殿中侍，御史，他也跟着，准备把玄奘大师介绍给这个舍护可汗牙，舍护可汗牙，什么人？现在不清楚，等一等我们会知道。他是附近的下一个国王。Okay, wonderful stories, amazing stories, how all of this happens. So, yeah, we have to learn this, how it works. All right. Right. Okay, time to dedicate merit. Are we ready? Please make a wish. This is your chance to dedicate merit. Here we go. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. And before we finish, we can bow to the Buddhas. 我们礼佛三问心。一问心，二问心，三问心。Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. See you all next week. 我们下个礼拜再见。阿弥陀佛。到此为止。
阿弥陀佛。是的，是。
嘿。